Morning. Had a great opportunity there during the bye week to evaluate us as an offense, what we put on tape there through 5 games, and really the message to the unit there on Monday was the 3 points of emphasis going forward, where we can make the biggest jump as a group. Starts number one with communication across the board. Number two was fundamentals and technique needs to improve. And then number three for us was critical situations. That's what's shown up in the first 5 games, whether it's short yardage, third downs, 2 minute, 4 minute, all those where we could potentially close the game out or end the game with the ball. We have to be better there. So I think the guys took that to heart. They understand the direction we need to go, and really excited about how coach is approaching this week with pads on, a little bit more intensity, because that's going to help us in terms of the communication part and the fundamentals and technique. So looking forward going forward.
And it was such a priority finding that X receiver this offseason, and you did in DJ. He's been down 2 weeks, doesn't look particularly good going into this week. Cephas, probably the logical replacement on the roster, is also on IR. So when you don't have that guy on the roster that you spent so much time looking for this offseason, how is it limiting your play calling currently?
You know, the other fun part about the bye week was I was able to play with my kids a lot more, and something they've gotten into is puzzles. And that's really what I kind of see this, what your question relating to, is this every week right now, it's a little bit of a puzzle. We're piecing together who's up, who's available, what's their skill set, how can they help us most, and how do we get them in the right spots over the course of the week. So there's no question DJ, we were hoping, would be a big part of our offense this year, and his availability hasn't been there for us. So it's been disappointing from that regard. But when we do get him back, be really excited to get him back in the fold.
That's how that conversation was started.
Yeah, they were happy to see that they do have a dad again, so that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's Toy Story, a little Buzz Lightyear action going on, and then we got Ariel with my little girl, so it's good.
But how is this different than last year, I guess, because it's largely the same group of guys, and it was a problem last year, so you've taken away the piece that was to solve that problem. So I guess, what can you tell us without giving away too much? How are you solving this puzzle?
Yeah, well, the good news about it is we know these guys that we do have, right? A lot of them, you said it's the same group. You're absolutely right. We really know what they do well. And so I feel really good about us highlighting those over that skill set over the course of the week. But yeah, there's no question we have to be a little bit more selective in terms of our game planning without an explosive receiver like DJ out there for us.
Those 3 points of that, and specifically the critical situations, like the offense has been so good for most of the year. How do you explain just maybe not being there in some of those critical situations, the short yardage running?
Yeah, to me that's the disappointing part of it, is the short yardage, because we take a lot of pride, particularly in our run game, of being able to get a yard when we need a yard. And so when you look back at it, I think a lot of it stems back to execution on a lot of levels. It's little details that are slipping through. And so starting this week, we're going to put a little bit more emphasis on it. Not that we weren't before, but I think the guys are feeling the heightened awareness here on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1.
The challenges is their defense presented when we see all the numbers. Obviously,
Oh, shoot.
They come at you there.
What don't they do well, right? I mean, this is a good group. It starts up front with them. 11 might be the best defensive player in the NFL right now. And it's not just him, though. All across the front, I think 90's playing at a really high level. He might not have the sack total right now or over the last few years, but he's getting pressure on the quarterback. He's showing up in the run game. And then really the rest of the guys, you can tell that they're really well coached. They play with great effort. They take a lot of pride in getting after the quarterback. That's our biggest challenge. I think they lead the league in sacks right now. So pass protection is going to be critical for us this week to have success. But it starts up front with them, and it really doesn't matter what situation they're put in. They're a really solid bunch.
This defense and then you talk about your shortcomings. Talk to me about the importance of the next man up, because regardless of what it was or what it is, this is what you have to deal with.
Oh yeah, there's no question. No one's feeling bad for us. There's no doubt about that. And no one in the offensive meeting room, we don't shy away from it. It's a great challenge. Each week, it's hard to win in the NFL. We know this. It doesn't matter who's up, but there's a lot of parity too. So it doesn't. Any given Sunday, any team can win, and we are going to be prepared this week to go out and perform well, regardless who's on the field. That's our mindset every week.
Their strength matches your strength in the way it does. Their pass rush, your offensive line. I asked Dan kind of about this. Do you lean into your strength, or do you adjust your game plan to avoid theirs?
Without giving away too much. Yeah, we're looking to attack them multiple ways. Yeah, and listen, Coach said it, I believe, it always starts with the run game for us each and every week. It doesn't matter who we're facing. So that's our starting point as we're starting a game plan, and then we build it out from there. But I guess take it that way. Yeah, it's offensive line for us is a strength, and we'll continue to focus on what they do well and highlight that.
Lineman, it's sort of like Justin said, right, best on best, and that sort of, the competitor comes out and you're right,
Oh, yeah.
hey, this is our chance to show who we are against the very
Yeah,
best.
no, they're aware of how many categories this defense is one of the top-ranked defenses in the league. They know the challenge at hand, and they're excited about it.
The offense as a whole has kind of gotten so much shine for these first couple of games here. I'm curious some specific pieces of it, particularly Penei Sewell and how he's kind of developed over these last couple of weeks, because I know year one to year two, that jump was something that was talked about a lot in the offseason. I'm just curious what you've seen from him.
Yeah, he is he's a very smart player, and really all those guys up front are very smart players, which allows us to be as multiple as we've been so far this season. But his mindset, his mentality, his demeanor as he approaches not only the game but his week of practice and preparation, it's beyond his years. For a young player, I think some of them have some growing pains in terms of what a professional looks like. To me, he's really made those strides in terms of how he enters the building, how he watches film, how attentive he is in meetings, and then that same intensity you see on game day shows up in practice as well.
For a second, could having some stability at the guard positions help that too? I mean, four different combinations up front, and I know Jonah's back down, but whoever is going to sort of anchor that right guard spot.
Yeah, I would say just the moving parts we have had up front. We had developed over the course of training camp a comfort level in terms of the fits, the combination blocks, and so yeah, it does get off just a little bit when you have some moving parts in there, and so that's why this week has been great for us going in pads yesterday, because we've been able to ramp up the intensity, and now all of a sudden our fits are live, they're game speed, and we can really hone them into what we want them to look like on Sunday.
When a team is kind of struggling on one side of the ball particularly, is there ever a situation where you kind of offer your input as the offensive coordinator, what you're seeing in practice for the defense to help maybe fix some of those holes?
I'll give you a secret. I didn't even have time to shower yesterday. I don't have time for that. No, listen, they are experts at what they do, and they've got it under control. So, no.
Is it rare for a young guy like Sewell to have that mentality? Because he seems like the guy that can kind of set the tone in that room.
Yes, I do think it's rare. I personally haven't experienced it much in my time in the NFL, but then again, we are a young team, so it does create some opportunities for some young guys to step up into some leadership roles.
Just curious, even going back to like training camp, early off season, you talk about consistency with the offense. And even if we start well, there's going to be these valleys and peaks. Obviously, went into the bye with your first real valley.
Yeah.
How have you seen, I guess, the response for the roster? How did that affect you, I guess, in any way, to see it maybe hit a bottom after cruising so well through those first 4 weeks?
No, I don't think I don't think it does anything to derail our confidence in what we're doing, the process that we have going into each week. Obviously, the result was not what we wanted that game, but we're not one to necessarily change course from what we've been doing and what we believe in just off of one game like that. So, yeah, it was disappointing, and the worst part of it was having the bye week to sulk on that for an extra amount. You wanted to go back and play right away, and so we did have to sit and reflect on it. But I think, like Jared said, we'll use it as a learning experience and be better for it.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.